Restaurants moving their business to the curb and workers wondering where the next paycheck will come from. This is the next chapter of the coronavirus response.
We have learned several new developments tonight at 11. Let's get right to it in Greensboro. Some relief for downtown Greensboro restaurant owners. Blue Denim, White and Wood, and Stumble Stillskins don't have to pay rent next month. The landlord says the owners need the relief right now.
In Kernersville, the Chick-fil-A on Main Street is temporarily closed. They say they're going to deep clean the place. There's a sign up on the door and cones in the parking lot. Store managers say they're following CDC guidelines.
Duke University says it is postponing spring graduation ceremonies. Several coronavirus cases were confirmed on campus. They say the decision was difficult, but it was in the best interest of public health. There are now 62 total coronavirus cases confirmed in North Carolina, and the state is still taking your questions. They're switching the helpline to a much simpler number. It's 211. Call with any questions you may have.
Parents have a lot to juggle right now. If you have children, you might need a daycare. They weren't forced to close. Many are still open. If you're expecting a child, you're now on the list of people most at risk. WFMY News 2's Marissa Tansino tackles both subjects tonight. She's live outside a Greensboro daycare where business keeps coming in.
Well, Chad, the day-to-day at daycares goes far beyond hand washing and sanitizer. Some are going as far as keeping parents in the lobby while they pick up their kids to prevent any possible coronavirus from getting in.
We still got to take care of the families, that has to work.
Greensboro daycares keeping their doors open and extra cleaning supplies on hand to keep kids healthy. CJ's Child Care in Greensboro is caring for about 75 kids a day right now. It's doing more than washing hands and stocking up on sanitizer.
Bleaching down the place throughout the day, every day throughout the day. And then we're going to start next week closing down on Fridays at 3 o'clock so we can thoroughly clean everything.
Similar procedures are in place across town at Stay and Play on Friendly Avenue.
We're stepping it up by making sure that every child that walks in washes their hands. Any toy that we see that a child puts by their mouth or nose, we immediately pick that up.
The people taking care of kids, not the only ones taking extra precautions. Now added to the list of people at higher risk, those expecting a child, like Sarah Hobbs.
And it's just scary not knowing, especially, you're trying to protect a life you're bringing into this world.
Her baby girl is due in July, so now she's taking extra measures to make sure she stays healthy.
Now I'm not even going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to let my husband go, and then when he gets home, he just washes his hands and everything like that, because I don't even want to go out unless absolutely necessary.
And daycare centers say they're doing their best to get kids to practice social distancing, and with schools shut down, they know that they're the only option for many parents here. They say they plan to stay open unless the state mandates them to close.
Marissa, thank you. Tonight, High Point Mayor Jay Wagner and 6 city council members are in self-isolation. They were at a conference in Washington, D.C. last week where 2 people tested positive for the coronavirus. It's unclear if any council members came into contact with them, but they are staying at home as a precaution, and none are showing any symptoms. Councilmember Cyril Jefferson decided the whole family would do it together.
No, none of us have symptoms. My boys are bouncing around. They're 2 and 3 years old, and the only thing they have a case of is sometimes just a case of a lot of energy, and so we're finding creative ways to use that energy. So what that challenge has looked like is that we're all committed to doing this because we know that's the best way for energy to move forward.
6 Winston-Salem City Council members attended the same conference. They too are in self-isolation tonight.
The city of Winston-Salem started raising relief money today. City Council pledged $1 million. Mayor Alan Joynes, overcome with emotion during today's announcement, said he's feeling the pain of his constituents.
Many of them, including me, feel like the world's been turned upside down, and in a lot of ways it has. We all have been approached by individuals who've lost their jobs or who have seen their jobs diminish. With store closings, restaurant closings, we know that many people are out of work. and they've asked, what can we do? People have approached me, what can we do to help? We are committing today $1 million. Sorry. We're creating $1 million to this fund that will be matched by the community.
So this is a snapshot of that donation website right now. They've already raised just over $1.2 million. United Way says it'll match $1 million of that.
Small businesses all across the Triad are feeling the sting. Look at these photos from inside the Four Seasons Town Center in Greensboro, nearly empty. WFMY News 2's Alma McCarty spent some and met some of those business owners trying to stay afloat.
Lots of unknowns with the coronavirus, but this is a fact. Small businesses are hurting and hoping to bounce back. Inside the Four Seasons Town Center, David Leipziger's long-standing embroidery business remains open.
We're not really doing much. We're getting occasional call or customer, and I'm trying to stay open, not really for me, but more for my employees. I haven't let anybody go, but right now, until we know what happens, but I've reduced staffing.
Despite a mostly empty mall, he hopes just a few sales can cover payroll.
Help them as much as I can during this time. I'm a small business. I don't have deep pockets. I can't pay, for them to be here when we're not here.
Across town at Cozy Calla Lily Boutique, the owner decided it was best to close temporarily and focus on online sales instead.
We're just trying to make you have something to look forward to, make yourself feel beautiful, just give you a sense of peace, something in the mail that you can look forward to every day, because this is going to be a little while.
Melanie Barilla Gottfried says there's always some risk opening a small business, but no one could have prepared her or any other entrepreneur for this.
You always have to kind of be prepared. You have to have a plan in place. And so we have a few months contingency, of course, but going further than that, it can get a little scary.
Shopping malls across the Triad are staying open for now, but one place you may have shopped at before for discounts is closed temporarily. Concord Mills Mall closed due to coronavirus.
Alma, thank you. Some are looking for innovative ways to help out with closed restaurants and crowded grocery stores. We met a Winston-Salem woman who's a personal shopper for the elderly. She uses an app called Dumpling. It allows her to call or text her clients, telling them what's available. Then she goes to multiple stores, filling up her cart.
I'm one person that they come in contact with that's sanitized, instead of multiple people that it's an uncontrolled environment in the grocery stores.
Tamika Wells drops the groceries off at front doors, never making physical contact with customers. You can find a list of similar services in this story on our website.
Some good news in High Point. Organizers have a new date for the spring furniture market. They postponed it because of coronavirus concerns. It's now on June 12th through the 14th. It'll run 3 days instead of 5, from Friday to Sunday.
Triad first responders can't stay home from work, so they're taking some extra precautions day to day. Police officers are wearing gloves on calls more often. They're also wiping down squad cars. Firefighters are wearing more protective gear. Nurses' operations are mostly normal for now, but interacting with patients has changed a bit.
A lot of nursing is personal touch. And unfortunately right now, that's something that we are having to curb and curtail. That does make it difficult.
Police also say they'll respond to anyone violating Governor Cooper's executive order. They start with a warning, but then violators could face a misdemeanor charge.
Following that rule can be tough. Postponing a party or a concert is one thing. Canceling a funeral is difficult. 2 Wants to Know's Kevin Kennedy found out what the precautions mean for such an emotional event.
For more than 20 years, Renee Donald has been guiding people through their most difficult time.
We hold our families near and dear to our hearts.
Alamance Funeral Service, like many facilities, is still learning how to operate around COVID-19.
Death care is such a sensitive issue that we as funeral directors are really wondering how we are to handle this.
The issue centers on Executive Order 117, prohibiting mass gatherings of more than 100 people.
It's kind of hard to say, hey, you're number 101, so you can't come in.
Trying to grant the family's wishes while following the executive order has become challenging, adding to the equation a staff that has several considered high risk.
I really think about that, and it's really, it's stressful. It really is.
The small chapel at the funeral home holds about 200, but if you practice social distancing, it would be about 50. Not what some families want to hear.
Yes, that is a fear, that they would go to another funeral home that would accommodate.
Some funeral homes are streaming services. Only a few come to the chapel.
That way their friends and family can still at least view the services. And of course, like on Facebook, you can leave comments on there, paying your respects that way.
The issue only more complicated as some pastors choose not to mix church and state, meaning 200, 300, maybe more would be allowed at a funeral, a mass gathering for the right reason, but at what cost? Kevin Kennedy, 2 Wants to Know.
We reached out to the governor's office and DHHS to see if churches would face any consequences if they hold a service with more than 100 people. We will let you know when they respond.
It has been a whirlwind couple of weeks, the virus affecting so many aspects of our lives. We want to know, what are your biggest concerns right now? Is it the virus itself? What about schools and childcare? Are you worried about your finances, or are you most concerned about a lack of supplies? Weigh in using the Vote Now feature on our app or on WFMY.com/vote-now. Let's start with the virus itself. The CDC now says there are about 7,000 cases in the U.S. 97 people have died. 62 North Carolinians have the virus, just 1 in Guilford County. No one here has died.
Moving on to schools. Every Triad school district has its own plan for feeding students and distance learning. Guilford County Schools rolled out their grab-and-go meal sites today. Parents can come by between 11 a.m. and noon and pick up a meal for their kids. There are 34 sites. They haul the meals in on school buses, and families can get what they need.
Oh yes, this is a very great thing that they're doing.
I work, I'm a full-time worker, and I was like, well, hey, it's gonna be hard to feed my family. You know, everything in the grocery stores are gone.
Although I get food stamps, but this right here, it's extra, it helps.
I told them I appreciate their hard work. They didn't have to be here.
A similar story for Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools. The district has several sites where parents can pick up free meals for their children.
We have our goal of feeding as many people as we possibly can. It's really very important to us that anybody that is in need of a breakfast and a lunch, that we can reach out to them and feed them.
Winston-Salem Forsyth County says they will roll out their online learning protocol tomorrow. Meantime, you can find out all the information about meals and helplines for your child's school district. It's on our website, WFMYnews2.com.
Now to the money. No doubt the virus is affecting millions of people, probably you too. But there is some good with the bad. Today the Dow Jones fell 1,300 points, sending it below 20,000. It effectively erases 3 years of growth. America's 3 biggest automakers, Ford, Fiat Chrysler, and General Motors, all temporarily closed factories. 200,000 workers are now left at home to idle. Here's where some of the relief comes in. President Trump signed a $500 billion package passed by Congress. It provides money for free testing and more money for food security programs. It includes paid sick, family, and medical leave for workers at companies with less than 500 employees. The next phase of the plan is in the works at the Treasury Department. The administration is asking for 2 rounds of direct cash payments to taxpayers worth about $500 billion. The first payment would come April 6th, the next May 18th. For now, it's just a proposal.
Let's move on to supplies. Many grocery stores are closing earlier every night to restock the shelves, but hospitals are in need of supplies too. We're talking about ventilators, masks, and hospital beds. Today, President Trump invoked emergency powers. This move lets his administration ask American industries to make those items if needed.
We're going to defeat the invisible enemy.
We are moving rapidly because the situation demands it.
The Navy also deployed 2 hospital ships to help increase the number of hospital beds. One will go to New York, where more than 2,500 cases have been confirmed.
So what are your biggest concerns right now? 39% of you say finances, 49% say the virus.
Checking up on the weather, we do have some rain that will be moving through our area, mainly while you're sleeping tonight. So this is a temporary concern, not really lasting into tomorrow. Right now, take for example, we have some light rain in Stokes County and Surrey County. This is all light. Most of the showers tonight will be light. It's also very warm. We're in the 60s. And we're heading toward a very warm day tomorrow. Here's a look at that rain possibility by 6 o'clock in the morning, mostly kicking out of here. And we'll have clouds to begin the day, but getting some sunshine by the end of your Thursday. So it starts out gray. It ends up a bit sunny. It's a windy day, but it's a warm day too. I expect a high temperature tomorrow, 76 degrees. Warm and windy, and warmer still for Friday. We'll talk about that forecast coming up.
We know you have a lot of questions about coronavirus, and we are working to find you the answers.
Many have asked more about how it spreads. Can it pass from item to item at the grocery store? How about through the mail?
We verify just ahead.
Plus, more student athletes are sharing their perspective after the NCAA canceled all spring sports.
They were there for me in hard times. I was there for them. And just the bond that we've built, through our 4 years here.
We talk life after sports with 2 High Point seniors coming up in just a bit during sports.